Hey, everybody, welcome so much to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Man, All Things Business, episode 2 and the second series with number 7. Our friend Jordan Allen was going to join us tonight, but he got swamped in something else, and he apologized he couldn't make it. So I'm going to start off by talking about him a little bit here in the book, Jordan Allen. Now, the beautiful thing about his book, Beach Money, he talks about, I'm going to start it off here in the beginning here in the index, and he wanted to thank 3 people. Number 1 was his mom, number 2 was his dad, and number 3 was yours truly in the book of Beach Money. And I'm privileged. He's one of 21 people that I've coached to be millionaires, and dear friend of mine as well. And I love to give him a little autograph here and a little something inside the book. And he talked about some things that were pretty phenomenal about understanding that the power of this industry, what it could do for you. And tonight we also have a young lady who I want to have on as a host on here with us tonight from Sacramento, California. She's been in the nursing industry for 50 some plus years, and Mr. Harrison Mill came back to join us tonight. So Miss Kathryn Williams, how you doing tonight?
Just fine, sir.
Good. We tell everybody a little bit about your background. You've been in the nursing field for a long time. We talk about that a little bit. Tell us a little bit about you.
I've been when I retired a couple years ago, I was an RN for 50 years. You name it, I did it in nursing. I did nursing because it was from my heart.
That's awesome. So now you were also in the reserve, weren't you?
I was in the military. I enlisted, believe it or not, in 1971. Spent time on active duty, spent time in the National Guard, and spent time in the reserve. So yes, all as a nurse.
Wow, that's amazing. As a nurse, that's amazing. So what got you involved with this industry called network marketing?
It started right after I left active duty. And as a young nurse, I was working a lot of hours, and Uncle Sam was taking all of my money in overtime. And I said, I need to diversify. I need to make sure I can find ways to protect this money. So I did, and started something other than network marketing. And once I was introduced to network marketing, I've been in a couple companies, and I love it.
Okay.
It's diversified income is important to me. Right.
Now, the reason you got involved in network marketing, give us the reason. Why did you get involved with network marketing as a nurse after these years? What was your thinking?
My thinking is a couple things. Is one, I had raised 3 boys. Both times I was in network marketing, I was raising 3 boys. My husband was active duty. I was in reserves. And for me, it was like, as I neared the end of my career, it was, my kids didn't get to see me, but I want to see my grandkids and my great-grandkids.
Okay. So that's a big reason why. That's amazing reason why. It's amazing because statistics shows us that network marketing is a great industry. I got a little something I was going to talk about the commission and payout of the network marketing industry as of 2020, 34.65%. In that year, there's over 4.6 billion paid out in network marketing, which averaged out to about monthly 3.72 billion paid out in the whole industry. Weekly, that averaged out to $858.22 million in the industry paid out as a whole. Like you said, the reason why I'm going with this, because you said you tried a couple, which you're part of this number, and on a daily basis, the whole industry pays out 122 million. 0.27. Ain't that crazy? Hourly, that's 5 million over hourly, and second, that's $1,415.13 every second that network marketing pays out. Since I mentioned those numbers, think about this: over $529,259 paid out just for me saying that. And I love this industry. Wow. So now you have 3 sons. Are they involved with the industry with you at all, or what's the thoughts there?
None of my boys are involved at all. My boys were raised, go to school, get a good education, and get a good job. And I have had the opportunity presented to them, and they said, "Nope, we got good jobs." So, okay.
Well, it's okay because you know what? I have family members the same way. And then when I, got my first jet, now guess what? Guess who wanted to jump on my plane? I said, nope, don't think so. It's amazing how people, as you start, they don't want to join, and even if you're successful later, they still don't join. To this day, I have zero family members involved in my business. It's zero after all these years of being successful in the top of 2 network marketing companies. It blows my mind. And now their income is going down, 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 and as everything's going up and up, like a carton of eggs these days are $12 for a carton of eggs. But then again, I remember there was $4 and $3.50 a quart. But here again, as inflation is eating their dollars, you think they'd be smart enough to say, you know what, I need to look at something else because I can't. I'm still paycheck to paycheck underwater. Yeah. So with that said, how many? What you got? Seven? Was it 7 grandkids?
I've got 7 grandkids and 2 great granddaughters.
Wow. I'm sitting around and looking for my notes. I had them here a minute ago. I don't know what happened to when this call got started. These gremlins are running around here taking it. That's amazing. That's so amazing. So give me an idea. What are your goals for the business for you this year in 2025?
Well, my goals for 2025 is to serve more in people in network marketing and to help them build a residual income. Because I know from personal experience that without residual income, especially in the climate today,
oh wow,
you're going to be hurting.
Yeah. And like I said, you've seen it, and I know as a nurse, that's a kindling spirit of giving and sharing and helping people, and when they can't be helped, and it takes a special person that want to help people to do that. And I thank you for that. That's very commendable.
Thank you.
So you're very welcome, Dan. I thank you for your 50 years in the industry since you got out of the nursing and found this and start building and helping people. That's a blessing. Wow.
I appreciate it because I've watched the economy tank twice, 3 times actually.
Wow.
And I know that there's going to be more hurting.
Yeah.
And probably worse this time.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot worse because they slowly take us down. That way the person don't feel it. We are in a recession, but they don't want to tell you. And now we have a new administration, and it's going to get worse. Not because of him, it's because it's already set up that way. See, so they're going to blame it on the new administration. That's all I'm going to say. So the blessing is we have to be smart because nobody's going to take care of it but us. And I like the idea of 21 years active in the reserve, 3 sons, 7 grandkids, 2 great grandchildren. Wow. That's amazing. One of the things I want to say to you is thank you. As I was thinking about it, in my book, my buddy Jordan Atlam came out with, I asked him a question on an earlier podcast. What does he think people need to have to be successful? And this is what he said. I'm going to give you these 4 folks. If you're out there in the audience around the world listening, you might want to write these down. He says, number 1 is called mindset. You have to have a bulletproof mindset. What do you mean, Mr. Thomas? Well, when you first start, because remember, we were not trained to think this way. It's so funny. As I flew back from Fresno today, back into Vegas, with Mr. Adrian O'Neill with me, and my car had a little tick, 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 and I took it to Jiffy Lube. I said, must be a little bit of oil left out of it. It was bone dry. But the guy that came up to me, he says, and we started talking, he had a mindset. He says, I'm a young man, I'm 32, I'm looking for something. I got 3 kids. This job is not making it. And I tapped him on the shoulder. I said, I got a guy you need to meet, Mr. Adrian O'Neill. Give him your name and number. So they met today. But see, it's a mindset. It's so important. And a lot of people don't have that mindset that they want more, or they just continue in the cycle of the same old, same old. The second thing that Jordan Atlam said is a skill set, Now, a lot of times we don't maybe have the skill set, but we can develop that skill set. Number 1, my first skill set I teach people is to listen. That's why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen, because people so basically want to talk. And one of the key factors is, when you get around successful people, be quiet and listen. And that's how you learn. And that's very important. And then if the skill set's not there, you can develop the skill sets. That's a blessing. And that's about network marketing. You can develop those skill sets. And number three, he says, work. Go to work and make it real. In other words, he says, if you don't see it work on the outside of you, it's working on the inside of you. Even to go to work when you don't feel like it in your own home-based business. Isn't it amazing how we go to work every day hating it and don't we do it anyway? Some days we don't feel like going, but we do it anyway. Days we don't want to see that manager, but we do it anyway. The day we say if that guy said one more thing to me, I might haul off and hit, and we do it anyway. It's amazing. And the fourth thing he said was network. He says your security is in your network, will determine your net worth. And we place so much security in the job, and I'm not here to knock a job, so don't get it wrong, folks, but we place so much energy in that they can walk in Monday or Tuesday or Thursday, they can say bye-bye, you're gone that quick. What is your backup plan? So in this book, Beach Money, we talked, I mean, I'm in there throughout there and talk about how I did certain things, but we're not here to talk about that. I'm here to understand you can do it. So, Miss Kathryn Williams, before we get to Mr. Harrison Mills here, give us a few words of what you would say to new people looking at this industry as a whole. What would you say to them?
Have an open mind, be willing to learn and to be coachable. You can be, as a nurse, listening was one of the skills I used all the time. And I would tell the new person, learn, listen, and be coachable.
That's powerful. Listening and being coachable. That is amazing. You know, I'm going to say this before I get Mr. Harrison Mills up here. Jordan, my dear friend, was talking about when he started, he's been in 14 of the network markets where he made a dime. And now he's the top income earner in another company. But he said he started off and he started with zero IBOs or zero people in his business, zero agents, zero any for everything. And he said by the time he looked up, he had over 700 people that grew in his organization. He had over 1 million users of the services that he had to offer in that company. You know, and he says, man, he's so grateful that now today we can have Zoom. I'm here in Vegas, back in Vegas from Fresno. Mr. Harrison Mill, I saw him this morning for breakfast in Fresno, and I saw you yesterday in Fresno, and now you're back in Sacramento. And it's beautiful. They were all in 3 different locations, Fresno, Sacramento, and Vegas, because of Zoom. And he said that's the reason why he loves it, because you could build an organization from anywhere in the world just by being from your home. And that is so powerful. So thank you for your input. Mr. Harrison Mills, sir, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. You know, I'm just really just enjoying the conversation, honestly. Just so if you see me just kind of zip, I'm just listening. I enjoy Miss Kathryn Williams. You are just dear to my heart, and also just to our team. As you come down here in Fresno, you always just give some value with it. And so, thank you just for even just sharing your story. It's good just to hear that.
Yeah, sir. Thank you. You know, well, not just my story. You meet Kathleen Williams' story, and there's all kind of success stories. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Harrison Mills, and I'm sure Miss Kathleen Williams would agree to me, isn't it time for you to have a success story for you and your family in 2025? Would you guys agree?
Amen.
Absolutely. I say that this is probably, as you were talking about us being in different locations, what a time to be born and present at this time, because this didn't happen to our ancestors. They weren't able to do the things they were able to do. So it's cool just to kind of take the opportunity and just be able to move it, Zoom, going and driving down the street or meeting in person. So yes.
You know, so we live in an area now. I love it. I was talking to Jordan Allen a couple of days ago. He's at his house in Arizona. He lives in his house on the side of a mountain, and he has a place here on the strip in the high rise here, and he just sold his place out about an hour from here. He just sold that place. So he has 3 to live between. But we were laughing because when we started this industry some 30, 25 years ago, we had to show up everywhere. We had to rent hotel meetings. We had to go out late night. We had to stay overnight, airfare and hotels and cleaning clothes and all the stuff that goes with it. Now we could be in the comfort of our homes building an empire. And that's blows my mind how people will look at something and say, no, I'm okay. Isn't it amazing?
It is amazing. You know, let me say, I don't know that life, that part. That, you know how we talk about pandemic
Yeah.
babies? I'm a pandemic networker. That came in right at that part. So that's what I know. And everyone just hopped onto Zoom and did those things. And so that's what I know.
It's great.
So it's
It's
great.
great, isn't it? Because we could be in several different places at one time and build a strong organization, which I love. Miss Kathy Williams,
Yes.
go
So
ahead, go ahead, sir.
go ahead. So I was going to say this: that you were talking about Mr. Jordan Adler. Just the one thing, the four goals. He's always given us something. He
Yeah.
always just. I love him and his character. But the number one thing was the mindset. Was the very first thing that comes off of his lips, and so that's just really cool to know that, because I'm basically saying you have to develop self.
Mhm.
The first person you can be your worst enemy, and you have to start off with self. And starting here, the enemy of the mind. You know, so just working on it every day. Working on it is just some kind of development. What are you listening to? Who are you walking around with? Who are your circle of friends?
Mm,
All these things
very
matter.
powerful. That's right. Who are your circle of friends? I'm gonna add you. I'm gonna go in here in this book a little bit on page 63. It's called the day momentum hit, and he talked about he had 700 agents and over 1 million customers. Now I'm gonna go way back in the day when he wrote this, and I want you guys chapter 13. I'm gonna read a little bit of this in the third paragraph when he talks about yours truly. Um, the meet in the second paragraph. Let's start off there because it says the meeting was scheduled to start at 7:30 in the evening. At 6:30, I was the only one there. I had my guests to meet me at 6:45, and at 7:15, people were outside waiting to get in. And I'm gonna drop down a little bit. And it says at 7:30 p.m., the crowd became silent and then jumped on their feet to roar with applause as the famous Al Thomas was introduced. He said, I felt depressed. Al was so good. He was fun, he was funny, he knew how to make money. And there was sitting with one, and I was sitting next to my single guest, while Al had a room full of over 200 people. Now that's how he thought, that I had a room over 200 people. Now listen to the rest of this, the power network marketing. How did he do it? I had worked so hard to invite 5 people, and on one it showed up. See, that's another thing. With Zoom, we can have 5 people, 10 people, 20, 30. You have to be physical. They could be anywhere in the countries. And he said, I decided once again, I would never make it in this industry, because he kept judging it by what I did. He said, I couldn't be as good as Al. Here's the key part I'm trying to get at. About 30 minutes into the meeting, Al had a few of the people in the front row stand up. He introduced them as his guests. At that moment, I realized Al only had 3 guests at the meeting. Al did not have 200 at the meeting. Al had just 3. I had 1. He said the distributors next to me had 1, and Sandy had 2 guests. And I'm gonna drop down here later. It says the room was filled with about 150 distributors. Some of them had a few guests who had none. And then I began to understand the magic of momentum. Al didn't have that many, but he had people from all over the country doing several of them. That's the power of this industry, folks. You just got to get started.
That's good.
You just got to get started.
That's good.
So like he said, number 1, mindset, because, number 2 was he got his skill set better. And now he has over 7 in that, agents. And then he went to work when he didn't feel like going to work. We do that on the job anyway. And then he started networking within those people. Who do you know? And that is one of the keys to building a strong organization. And people always say, well, how?
You just said
Huh?
You just said the key thing there. Who do you know?
Oh, yeah.
Who do you know? It was just from that 3. Who do you know, and who knows who? Who do you know? And you go through that.
Yeah. Last night when I was in Fresno, I was sharing when I first got started in the industry in December of 1990. The guy that got me in, I'm going to tell the story. It might bless people out there. I was in Sacramento on Sunrise Boulevard. And believe it or not, I was at the Bel Air Market, and this guy had a big old button on talking about free airline tickets. And he was a short guy. He's a mechanic, and he looked like a mechanic. Nothing wrong with being a mechanic. We had nothing in common. But he was standing in line as I was buying my groceries, and he turned around. I said, tell me about most people call them clown buttons. But that clown button made him a fortune. Anyway, that was back in those days. I said, what about the airline tickets? He goes, I can't tell you about it. I go, huh? See, he was smart. He didn't know anything. I said, wait, you don't know about the program? He goes, no, sir, I don't. He said, however, we're having a meeting tomorrow night. Can you come? I was like, looking at this guy like, this guy doesn't know. And I'm curious. I went out December to the meeting, walked in, signed it. He was so excited to see me. He introduced me to the 20 people that were there. And this is a true story. Then what happened, another guy came in and I greeted him. And I said, who invited you? He goes, nobody. I go, what? He goes, no. I was at the state fair in Sacramento and they had a booth there through the state fair and they were so busy, nobody talked to me. So I got a brochure and I called the home office in Dallas, Texas for Excel. And they told me the nearest meeting for me from Stockton, California was way up in Sacramento an hour and a half later. And I drove up here out of curiosity. And I said, nobody invited you? Kathryn Williams says, nobody. I put my arm around him. I said, you my new best friend. His name was James Moore. Now watch this. Even a blind dog can find meat every now and then. God will bless you by showing up. And I signed up that night. And guess what? He signed up that night. Now think about that. By me showing up, I got my first rep in the business of network marketing that night for showing up. And that guy went on to put about, I'd say about 300 or 400 people in the organization.
Wow.
Now, that's the beauty of it. Another quick story. Another buddy of mine, he was a little too cute to do this because he was a professional. He was in middle management. I mean, did well for himself. Do not get me wrong. I said, since you're too good for this, who do you know that might want to look at this? He gave me a guy in Dallas, Texas named Lee Lemons. Lee Lemons got in the business on a referral, one of my biggest organizations. And this guy got in, and the first time I ever went down to Dallas to do a meeting, back in the old days, he had about 324 people in the room. I was blown away. All in my organization. A referral, wow. And by showing up, folks, you never know what God's got in store for you. Anybody want to comment?
Wow.
You never know.
No.
The day you don't feel like doing it, you get the superstar. See, even though you don't go to work, don't feel like going to work, you still go anyway. And why don't people push themselves in their own business? It blows my mind. But they'll work their 8 hours a day and won't do anything extra for them and their family's retirement or future. Isn't that amazing?
It sounds good. Can I just share this? Even what you're saying, adding what Jordan Adler said, along with what you said, 700 people. He started off with zero, no one, put his head down, and all of a sudden he has 700 people, and just basically what you're saying. You say a blind dog. That saying corrects me up. A blind dog can even find meat.
Yeah, just by showing up.
I love it.
I mean, he's the number one. He's the number one distributor in his company. I have so many guys I've coached. Now, there's another gentleman who's on the channel that does over 2.6 million a year, and he's in a different industry. But see, I know these guys because I help them. Well, anyway, I know it, and everybody started with nothing. They just stuck and hung in there. They stuck and stayed till they got their pay. Let's put it that way. So that's number 3. Number 1, there's their mindset. Number 2, their skill set got better. Number 3, they kept working whether they feel like it or not. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't see the seed the same day. You keep watering it, give it sunshine, get the weeds and bugs away from it, negative people. And you just keep doing that. And all of a sudden, a month or so later, a little something comes up to the ground. And next thing you know, it comes popping up because it takes time, folks. Rome was not built in one day. Yeah. It was destroyed by negativity over time, but it wasn't built in one day. Yeah. And then he did number 4. He got into their networks and then blew it up. And those are the 4 keys of foundation that he talked about. Isn't it amazing?
Love it. It is amazing. The James Moore story, I'm not familiar with the underscore, the importance of taking action and taking the lead. Can you imagine if you signed under him?
Man, you know, there's a lot of those stories I have about James Moore that I signed up people just by showing up somewhere. It's amazing to me. But here again, I put the time in it. Most people, they play the hokey pokey. You put the little foot in and take the big foot out, and then they put. No, you got to be consistent. If people, and I honestly believe and truly believe in my heart of my hearts, that if people would take the time and work an hour or two a day, turn the blue tube off. That's why it's called PV programming. Get it programming. They won't. They don't. If you turn the TV off, all it gives you red eyeballs and hollow head, and just put an hour and a half a day in your own business. Where would that plant be, of that seed, in 6 months, a year, year and a half, 2 to 3 years? What about 3 years now? Can you see yourself being totally free from a job, making 10 times more, 5 times more, even 3 times more you're making today, with more freedom?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? I see it all the time for those that stick in there, and it takes work. Remember this, folks, and write this down. The only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
The dictionary. You know, and I always hear this from people. Oh, I tried, or that's impossible. Here's my Webster dictionary. Let's look. When people, I've had this dictionary for, decades. When people say it's impossible, I said, well, here's my dictionary. Give the word impossible out. And guess what I did with the word impossible?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't exist. It might be impossible in your brain, but it's not impossible in my brain.
That's why I usually take impossible and say I'm possible.
Right.
Just separate it a little bit. I'm possible.
Ooh.
Not impossible.
I got to write that one down. See, I learned something today.
Yeah.
I try to learn something every day. You know something I try to tell people? The more I learn, the more I learn that I don't know. It's other people think they know it all. No, the more that I learn, the more I learn that I don't really know. Isn't that crazy? Because I'm open to learn more about subjects I don't know. Somebody was asking me today, you speaking Spanish? I go, well, it's increasing because why? I'm learning that too. Mm-hmm. Something I did not know. Doing this, I did not know, but I'm willing to learn. See, successful and wealthy people are always looking at, they don't want to miss out. They don't want to miss out. You know, crypto, oh, that's a scam. Wealthy people say, how does that work again? Let me learn that too. Yeah, let me learn that too, right? Yeah. Because we're always looking, right. We don't want to get left behind. The other person, they think everything's a scam. And I told a guy today, I said, let me say what scam stands for. Scam, S-C-A-M, still confused about money.
Amen.
Well, we got a few minutes left at closing. You guys have a few words at closing you want to add to what we talked about tonight?
Ladies first.
Just keep an open mind. Keep your ears open. Keep your eyes open. Listen and learn. No matter what you do, if you do those things, your bank account will probably go up.
Mr. Mills?
Love it. This what you're saying is possible for anybody that wants to just go to work. One, changing mindset. Sometimes I say this, I'm too smart for my own good. Sometimes I get in my own way.
Amen.
Just from it's good to learn, but just still follow the system. The learning is to change the character so that you can follow the system as you go through it, you know. And what I call this lifestyle that you use, that you're living, I call it a residual lifestyle. I want to live the residual lifestyle. How does that feel to wake up in the morning knowing that I have my time? I don't have to trade time for dollars, that I can go do whatever it is that I want because I choose to. The residual lifestyle, and that is given to anyone that has chosen to work hard for it. So yeah, thank you just for the example.
I appreciate that. You know, like these young guys, I got 3 guys today when I stopped by to get my car looked at, and it was like I was out of oil. Like, man, God bless you. I tipped all 3 of those guys. The guy said, people don't tip us over here. I said, I tipped you all 3. Look, I'd rather tip you and get my oil changed than spend 2 or 3 grand on a new motor. You know what I mean? Here, I'm tipped, you know, because understand, You said system. System stands for saving yourself time, energy, and money. And I was sharing with these young men, I said, let me share something with you about residual income. Think about your favorite music artist. They cut it one time, and anytime that song plays anywhere in the world, they get paid. I'm going to teach you how to get paid just like them. And their eyes got so big because they never heard that concept before. And I said, you got to forgive mom and dad. They couldn't teach you something they didn't know, and schools will never teach you. And I said, I'm going to give you one other thing I told them before I drove away. I said, I'm going to tell you, I get paid like Bill Gates. For the last 36 years, I've been getting paid every second, every minute, every hour. Watch this, every day, every week, every month, every year, decade 1, decade 2, decade 3. And the guy said, please don't forget to call me Mr. Thomas. Please. I want to hear more about this.
Tell that one story, you know, when you have to check and see if you're going on vacation or not.
Well, yeah, I told people when I want to go on vacation, I go in my bathroom, I flip the switch on, I look at the guy in the mirror and I wink. I say, you want to go? He has never said no. He's never said no. He's never, you know, just like a week or two ago, Mr. Bree Clemens and I, about a week ago, we went down to Mexico to our places in Mexico. And, you know, the airlines, hey, there's a big storm in Dallas. We're supposed to stop in Dallas on the commercial flight. And it's Dallas got a storm coming in. It's going to be snow on the ground. You can't make it. So they changed my flight to Miami. And like for the next day. And I said, I don't care. I don't have to show up anywhere. I can stay another 2 or 3 days. It's okay. So they changed me back to first class on that flight to Miami, first class back to Vegas. Whether it's 2 days or 3 days, I was okay. Because I loved it down there. Think about it. Where everybody was cold, we were down there in shorts and flip-flops and T-shirt. Now, I must admit, we got dressed up one night. New Year's night, we got dressed up and went to the restaurant a block away from us. We were dressed up. I had shorts, flip-flops on, and I had a polo shirt with a collar. It was warm at 82 degrees in the day, and it got as cold as 76 at night. No, 72, I'm sorry. Beautiful. It dropped down to 72. So every night and day was just flip-flops and shorts, T-shirts. But anybody. But if here again, what we're trying to say to you guests out there around the world, what about you? Why not you? You can live this lifestyle. I'm nobody special. I just stuck with it all this time. And because I stuck with it, I helped a lot of people go where they wanted to go, whatever their dreams and desires were. You know, he's got 3 homes he's lived between now and all these toys. That's, hey, there's a price to pay. Let's face it this way. You're going to pay that price one way or the other. I'd rather pay it fast and build something rather than slow over 30 years to do it slow. You're going to make it either way, but why make it slow when you get it fast and get on with your life and enjoy the rest of your life? That's what we're talking about here. So tonight, I want to thank Miss Kathryn Williams up in Sacramento. Thank you, dear. It was a blessing seeing you yesterday on Fresno. Mr. Harrison Mill, thank you so much, sir. You are a breath of fresh air and doing a great job there building Fresno and being a great leader down there. We appreciate you and everything you do. Ladies and gentlemen around the world, thank you so much for your time. Hope this blessed you. Hey, leave a comment below if you can. Hey, so the algorithm could go up and leave a comment and also a like, and then send this out to 3 or 4 people and let them see something that might bless their lives, because 2025 is going to be a turning point for a lot of people. Hopefully with this channel, I know so with this channel, it's going to turn your income up if you do the things that we give you. And with that said, take care. God bless. We thank you so much. Good night.